Bluey, the lovable animated series that debuted in 2018, has captured the hearts of audiences worldwide with its charming characters, heartfelt storytelling, and delightful humor. Recently, the Australian import went on hiatus for an undetermined length, but Bluey fans of all ages are waiting excitedly for the show's inevitable return. While we wait for new episodes, the Great Pop Culture Debate wanted to bring together both adults and kids to discuss the best Bluey episodes. Like Stripe, I'm the fun uncle. I love barbecue, and I don't understand what a stump fest is, but I'm totally down to try. I'm your host, Eric Rezsnyak. Please help me welcome my panel for this episode. First, she too turns feral in a onesie. It's Amma Marfo.
I am the onesie. The onesie is me.
Well, Amma, I've always said you really put the fun in onesie, so thank you for coming back for this. Next, she's here to help us mourn the loss of Hecuba. It's Joelle Boedecker.
I love a gnome that enjoys a good burger.
Oh, no, you didn't. And for this episode, we have a special surprise. You can't properly discuss Bluey without getting input from the children. So we have brought in not one, but two whole families to participate in this debate. First, hoping to not make this podcast a little too fun, it's the Czadzecks. Please welcome Jim, Courtney, Elliot, Colin, and Ian.
I slipped on my beans. For real life? Aw, biscuits.
Wait, there are biscuits? Welcome, everybody. And next, they always play by Lucky Dad's rules. It's the Hey Chen family featuring Brendan Hay, Jennifer Chen, and their kids Chloe and Clark.
Hey, Lucky's Dad's rules.
And like Lucky's Dad's rules, we sometimes make people cry.
Oh my God, so did my dad. And we had producer Bob Berlinback watching us from the Dunny we converted into a producer booth. We cleaned it, we promise. If you're curious about how we ended up with this Sweet 16, become a Patreon supporter of our show or listen to the 3-minute primary available wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, you can head to this episode on greatpopculturedebate.com to find the listener bracket as well as clips of all the nominated episodes so you can play along with us at home. And with that out of the way, let's get into these debates before Janet and Rita slow us down. First up, the panel is evenly split between Season 1's Keepy, Uppy, and Season 3's Granny Mobile. Amma, why do you want to keep Keepy, Uppy floating into round 2? Czadzeck family, give a bugalug who can sell Granny Mobile even to a grumpy granny pug. Amma, please go first.
So the thing I like a lot about Keepy Uppy is it's really effective early episode and that you know who these characters are, how they're going to behave, and like the kind of thing that you're going to see on the show. I also feel like my dad is a little bit of a bandit, so I definitely saw like shades of how my dad used to play with us as he tried to like obstruct the game of Keepy Uppy. But I also remember years ago when I was very little, we went to Sanibel Island and there was a beach ball that we had that like just did not last the length of the trip. And in them trying to figure out what to do at the end of Keepy Uppy when the balloon pops, I felt that. So there's a lot of me as a kid that I saw in that episode, and it just makes it really fun to revisit a lot of different parts of.
Yeah, and I would say as someone who's watched some Bluey, but not a lot, which is why I'm not voting in this episode, that's one of the great things about this show is it really brings you back as an adult to those feelings of childhood. Faye's Czadzeck family, will someone talk to me about Granny Mobile and why you think it should move forward?
Well, I have to say, speaking for the family, that Rita and Janet were some of our first favorite quote-unquote characters. Can someone give me a Rita?
What was that, Janet?
And so with Granny Mobile in the 3rd season, we were really thrilled to see these characters come back. And this one, they're not very nice, which was always kind of a bit of a conflict, but we think it's amazing pretend play. And we love that the writers have the characters question the role of the grouchy granny and point out kind of this role playing of Granny is maybe not always the nicest, but then that it also teaches a lesson about standing up for yourself. So I think the reason we loved Granny so much was because of our favorite characters, Rita and Janet. But also, I have to say, and now you're going to all jump in, Keepy Uppy was tough to beat because they love to play Keepy Uppy. So you boys tell.
Yeah, so like after like a birthday party when we've gotten like balloons, we just play Keepy Uppy because we've seen it on Bluey and it's really fun to play.
It is, and anyone can play Keepy Uppy, right? Great arguments. I'm going to hand it over to Joelle. Where are you on this one? Is it going to be Keepy Uppy or is it going to be Granny Mobile?
My initial instinct was Keepy Uppy because it is an absolute Bluey classic, and even into my adulthood, I still like to play Keepy Uppy on occasion. The Granny Mobile episode is hilarious, but I think I need to stick with the classic Keepy Uppy.
Okay, and hey Chen family, where are you all on this one? Is it going to be Keepy Uppy or Granny Mobile?
Granny Mobile.
Uh-oh, does that mean we're split? We're split 2 and 2. So what we're going to do with this episode is we're going to go to the seeds. And in the seeds, I just had to double check. It looks like Granny Mobile is the higher seed, which means that will continue into next round. Next, the majority of the panel is crawling to the conclusion that Season 2's baby race should cross the finish line. But the Chen family thinks this is a package deal and wants Season 3's Pass the Parcel to arrive into round 2. Joelle tried to lap the competition as you push for baby race. Chen crew, please have a representative send Parcel to round 2. Chen family, please go first.
We love Pass the Parcel because it is such a funny episode, but it's also such a kid birthday party episode of like, if you've ever been to a kid's birthday party, there's always some goodie bag or something. And I just loved the bingo learning to enjoy losing, which is really hard, but it's also hilarious because it's just such a fun, silly episode, and also has all of the kids. So there's like a pug family. There's like all the families you get to meet.
The pug family is my favorite. I like it because you got to see all of them go to birthday parties, which is fun.
Yes.
And I like it when Lucky's dad has to give $5 bills to all the kids to make them stop crying.
Yeah.
Oh, great job. Joelle, can you talk to us about the Parcel episode? No, you're talking about Baby Race.
Baby Race, yeah.
Yeah.
But first of all, bribery is timeless, obviously. So.
Absolutely.
Baby Race. So I feel like these 2 episodes are both absolutely wonderful. I love Pass the Parcel. Baby Race is maybe more of a sentimental episode than Pass the Parcel. Baby Race has a whole flashback in it, and it's just adorable to see a baby Bluey rolling around on the floor, learning how to sit up, learning how to, what do they call it? Bum shuffling. That's a term I didn't know. I think we call it scooting here in the US. And then she also like learned how to backwards crawl, not forwards crawl. It's just so cute and funny. But what it really is about is this learning how to just focus on your own story, your own race, your own growth, and not worry so much about how other people are doing. I think it's a really important lesson, even as an adult, to be reminded of.
Wonderful. And I will say, bum shuffling, this is a family episode, so I'm going to let that just pass right by. Amma, are you going to be doing Baby Race or Pass the Parcel?
Oh, I really like Baby Race. It's made a lot of my friends realize, like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're going to be fine. And I love that for them. So Baby Race, sentimental pick, but it's going to be the pick for me.
Okay, Czadzeck family, is it going to be Baby Race or is it going to be Pass the Parcel?
Well, as with many of these, we were split in our household. We identified with you try not to have competition with other parents and their kids, but you can't help it sometimes. And then Pass the Parcel, I just love the changing of the rules and what effect that has. But our kids, what is the final vote from our kids, though?
We're gonna vote for Pass the Parcel.
Well, I have good news and I have bad news. I like the fact that the kids are outvoting the adults. I think this is great. The bad news is that we have to come to the seeds again because we're split, right? And what has the higher seed? It's Baby Race. So Baby Race will continue into round 2. Next, it's another 3-1 split as the bulk of the panel is aging itself by preferring Season 1's Grannies. But the Chen family is hungry for a victory for Season 3's Curry Quest. I need someone from the Czadzeck family to take care of Grannies, but first I need someone from the Chen family to explain their spicy decision for Curry Quest before the magpie attacks. Can I have the Chen family go first?
I really like Curry Quest because I like that Chili explains to Bluey what a quest is. Well, you can see Bingo going on the quest, and I also like seeing them go to the airport, but I also like Grannies because it's really funny.
Yeah.
One more thing for Curry Quest.
Uh-huh.
It manages to do a full breakdown of what a classic hero's journey is in under 6 minutes.
Which is cool.
It is cool.
And I like at the very end in the credits where they show everybody's face paint.
Cool. Great job. Czadzeck family, can you talk to me about Grannies?
We chose Grannies because I slipped on my beans. I'm sorry.
Is that the whole reason we vote for it?
Their notes, because I asked them, why did you choose this one? And we have some notes, but they appear to be clamming up. Did you want to talk about toilet water on Bandit? No? Nope. Okay. In the end, Bluey finds a way to fix it so that Bluey and Bingo both play the way they want. And they liked that. And then it was again nostalgia to our family, because when we first began watching Bluey, it was a favorite because again, what were their names?
Rita
and
Janet.
Good job.
And then we watched Curry Quest after to see how we could make it win this argument. And what did you all say?
Curry Quest is probably better.
Maybe because we both are English teachers in the hero's journey. We're like, come on, kids. And
they're like, oh, that's a good
that's
story.
a good point.
Excellent. Good job, everybody. I'm going to throw it to Joelle. Are you on Curry Quest or are you on Grannies?
You know, I was initially on Grannies, and then I rewatched Curry Quest earlier today, and I fully agree. It's definitely just an awesome way to learn about a quest, and face your fears, and also learn scary news and deal with it. It's a really good episode.
Awesome.
So I'm with Curry Quest.
Amma, are you Curry Quest or Grannies?
I love Rita and Janet so much, but when it comes to best episode, I think Curry Quest is really effective. So I'm giving it to Curry Quest.
You guys, it's an audio medium, so you can't see this, but there was much cheering happening across the screens because we have a unanimous victory for Curry Quest. You did it, everybody. So Curry Quest moves into round 2. Next, 75% of the panel wants to farm more votes for season 2's Hammerbarn, but Joelle has big feelings for season 3's Mini Bluey. Amma, please defend your need of a pizza oven and your love of Hammerbarn. First, Joelle, go big as you defend Mini Bluey. I'm going to have Joelle go first.
I will start by saying I don't know that I will win this because Hammerbarn is such a fantastic episode, but Mini Bluey is just one of the ones that has stuck with me, and I love it so much. It's just the story of figuring out who is who. Like, their personalities are different, and when one of the parents says, wouldn't it be great if we just had 2 of one of you? They go, okay. And apparently they made the wrong choice. And that's a rough thing to learn. And then they switch. And that's becomes a really sad lesson for Bluey and their parents. Ultimately, they switch back into each other's personas, and the parents just say, I guess that's close enough. And it's just funny and adorable. And I love the way that they just transform the children and try to turn themselves into each other. But no, this is the Hammerbarn story. So I will let Amma go.
Amma, take it for Hammerbarn.
Well, and I will say Mini Bluey I really love, but also as the Bluey of the Bluey and Bingos, I'm the older. The younger sibling automatically being picked had some feelings about that. Won't lie to you. But when it comes to Hammerbarn, I think it's just one of those, again, it's a familiar feeling of like when you were younger and went to the store, and it wasn't just going to the store, it was an adventure. And you got to build this whole world in a place that wasn't your house. And at the end of that trip, it's like, we're going home. You got to leave that behind. And like, that was a really interesting thing again to get to relive. And the fact that like within the larger experience of the show, like in Australia they did a build out of like a Hammerbarn immersive experience. Like they wanted people to be able to go through and feel it. Not to mention, I would love a pizza oven. Like someone take me to the American Hammerbarn equivalent so I could have a pizza oven. I got to give it to Hammerbarn. It's such a fun one.
I want a pizza oven. All right, Czadzeck family, is it Mini Bluey or is it Hammerbarn?
We're going to have to say Hammerbarn because
okay, go ahead, Ellie.
I know that personally I used to love to go to Home Depot with everyone, and I always got all the free samples, every single like paint thing or like tile or anything, and it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So that's one for Hammerbarn. And hey, Chen family, where are you guys? Is it Hammerbarn or is it Mini Bluey?
Hammerbarn. I love Hammerbarn. It's one of my favorite episodes. I just love how they go on like the grand adventure in the store. I like the part where Bluey says, "She's taking my husband."
Great job, everybody. So I guess that means it's stop hammer time, and Hammerbarn is moving in to round 2. Next, the panel is evenly split between Season 2's Double Babysitter and Season 3's The Sign. Amma, why are you feeling twice as certain that Double Babysitter should advance? I need someone from the Hey Chen family to act like a lucky coin to get The Sign into round 2. Amma, please go first.
So I was just reviewing the official Bluey summary for Double Babysitter, and one thing that they mention is they decide to play 20 questions to get to know each other, but the questions get too tricky for the adults. As a single child childless grown up, I get those tricky questions a lot. I haven't landed on my ideal answers, but I think kind of getting to see other people go through that and also work through their answers with each other. So in having those conversations, the story then turns into, as a grown up, how do you grow through the things that have happened to you to kind of let new adventures happen? And it's such a fun adventure, fun lesson. And then the actress that does the voice of Frisky is also a very fun Australian actress, comedian named Claudia O'Doherty. And I was very excited to hear her. So I'm glad she's now part of the Bluey universe as well.
Awesome. And hey, Chen family, can you talk to me about the sign?
Okay. Yeah, no, I love that the sign does a daring change. It is a 28-minute episode, which they had never done before. It's almost like the equivalent of like if there had been a movie for Bluey. So, I mean, it's got what counts as bigger stakes for Bluey. It's still magically funny and sweet. Also, I love, spoiler for the sign, I love that it had a happy ending. And Joe Blum, the creator, had a great quote about that, of how it's like, that's what fiction is for, happy endings. So what do you want to add, Chloe?
I like how many flashbacks it has to other episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like the part where Bluey says, "We'll see," and then Muffin's like, "No, we won't see."
Yeah. And also, by the way, the joy over getting to sit in the front seat mirrors our own kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe that. Excellent. So, Joelle, where are you? Is it the sign or is it Double Babysitter?
Okay. Double Babysitter is kind of the lead up to the sign. We wouldn't have a huge plot point of the sign if we didn't have Double Babysitter first. That said, the sign is one of the most ambitious Bluey episodes, and they cover so much terrain. So I'm with the sign.
Great. Czadzeck family, what do you guys think? Is it the sign or is it Double Babysitter?
They're both cute. If I were to pull out some arguments from other episodes of this podcast, do you maybe throw it out there? Do we think that the recency bias possibly for the sign? I see a lot of heads nodding.
I think that's definitely part of it because this poll went up literally right after that episode aired. Yep.
Yeah. And so over time, who knows if it will still stand. So we like the Double Babysitter as extra cute and not trying to like wrap the show up or anything like that. It's just there. And so we enjoy that one more.
Okay. That gives us a split decision, and the sign is the number one vote. So that goes ahead into round 2. Next, the majority of the panel wants to boogie on down to round 2 with season 2's dance mode, but the Czadzeck family sees only one option, season 3's Unicorse. Joelle, explain why everyone should say yes instead of no to dance mode. But first, can I have someone from the Czadzeck family tell us why, of course, the answer should be Unicorse? Czadzecks, go first.
And why should I care?
Okay, so it's really funny because Unicorse is like rude and like they just have to ignore him to do all this, like read the book, just make him so like they can go to bed.
I don't know how much this is, but I was pointing out to maybe my wife and Elliot as well that the lesson of the episode is to make the person who argues a lot and wants to sue people go away is to ignore him. And I don't know if that had any other connections than anything else, but it seemed pretty on target.
But again, at the end, we watched dance mode because they said, okay, tell me why Unicorse is better than dance mode. And what did you all say?
Dance mode is better because it has a better plot.
I like Unicorse.
Okay.
That's just me.
I'm still going to give you guys one vote for Unicorse, right? Sounds good. And then I'm going to throw it to Joelle to talk about dance mode.
Dance mode, as the youngest child of 3 and the one that was always ignored and the one who definitely got like the last whatever on her plate eaten. I love seeing an episode all about Bingo getting to like receive a reward for being hurt a little bit. Ultimately, then her whole family takes advantage of her again. And it's just a little familiar. I don't know. That's probably darker than I meant to go. But the point is, what I do like about dance mode is that it teaches the family what they did wrong, even more so than anyone else. Like the parents and Bluey all learn that they didn't treat Bingo correctly. And then they give her the incredible yes-no button that, frankly, that's the best reward of all.
I would love a yes-no button in my life. So if anyone's listening, my birthday is coming up. Amma, where are you? Is it dance mode or is it Unicorse?
I gotta give it to dance mode. It's just so much fun. And again, like being the sibling who talked for her younger sibling for quite some time, to the point where my sister was a late talker and it wasn't, she's since more than made up for it, just so we're clear. But yeah, it was a nice lesson to get to learn. I'm giving it to dance mode.
Hey Chen family, is it dance mode or Unicorse?
Dance mode.
Great. So I think we have 3 for dance mode. Did Ian want to say something? Nope. I'm going to say no. All right. So it sounds like we've got 3 for dance mode. So that's going to move into round 2. Yes. Next, it's another 3-1 split as the bulk of the panel wants to get more quality time with season 3's Faceytalk. But the Czadzeck family isn't quite finished with season 2's Dunny. Amma, release your inner muffin to defend Faceytalk. And he needs someone from the Czadzeck family to yes say Dunny or face squish squashing. Czadzeck, you're up first.
We don't say that.
Squish squash.
We like Dunny because it's like fun that they're having fun, like in the morning, just like playing games, just having fun. And we don't really like Faceytalk because it's all like Muffin's just being rude and hogging the whole time.
But it is silly.
But it is silly, right, Ian? Amma, do you want to talk about Faceytalk?
I do. I think that it's a really fun style of an episode. And I think anytime you get to see something that departs from a typical format, typical standard for a show like this, and with animation, you don't necessarily see that switch up very often. It's also just, I really love talking to my nieces and nephews and friends' kids on FaceTime, and it just felt so emblematic of that experience. Like, wherever it is they're going in the house, you're going with them. Sometimes they're not going to be able to stay on the phone and they're like, nope, we're not done yet, and just kind of take over. It felt like a really authentic portrayal of that experience. But then also kind of in the background, realizing that as you do that, you do get to see a little bit of the inner lives of the parents. It shows you more than you think you're originally getting. And I think this was a really special, really, really fun way to do that. And I love a Muffin episode. Just what a chaos nugget. She's the best. It's Faceytalk for me on this one.
Great. Joelle, is it Faceytalk or Dunny?
Oh yeah, it's definitely Faceytalk. I just Dunny it was not a memorable episode for me at all. And Faceytalk is one I very much remember, and it was actually more of a episode I used to bring people into the show because it's so silly and crazy.
Great. And the Chen Hay family, is it Faceytalk or Dunny?
It's Faceytalk because I really like Faceytalk because like Muffin keeps hogging the computer and she wants to finish her cowboy hat, and it's just really funny. I like the part at the very end where she drops the phone in the pool and then goes like, uh-oh.
Well, we're kind of doing a Faceytalk right now, so I think it's only fitting that Faceytalk moves into round 2. Sorry, Czadzeck family. We are going to say Dunny. I'm sorry. But finally in round 1, it's one more split decision, this time between season 1's Takeaway and season 2's Sleepytime. Joelle, argue for Sleepytime before I finish singing 99 bottles of a thing on the wall, and I need a volunteer from the Hey Chen family to deliver an argument for Takeaway. And yes, I will tip extra if you can do it without taking a bush wee. Joelle, please go first.
So Sleepytime. I'm going to start by talking about an episode from season 1 just to explain why this is really special. So season 1, before seasons 2 and 3 came out, there was a particular episode that was so highly rated, like critically. I think it won awards and stuff, and that is the Fruit Bat episode of Bluey. It's about Bluey's like kind of dream space, and she just dreamed she could stay up all night and eat fruit. It's very cute. So in season 2, we get the bingo version of that, and it is adorable, a bit nerdy, absolutely beautiful. Right before bed, she reads about an egg and she's hugging her bunny, and then she's reading about space, and then that's what her dreams are. She cracks out of an egg holding her bunny floating in space, but there's this whole extra layer where all the things that she's doing impact her family because she's like sleepwalking, and so she's like literally kicking her dad right off the bed, and she's like just wandering down the hallway every 5 seconds. It's just funny. It's adorable. It's absolutely beautiful. The just the aesthetics of it. It just as a space nerd alone, I love that episode.
Great. And Hey Chen family, can you talk to us about Takeaway?
I like the part where Bingo says, "Mr. Crow, it's too spicy for you," and how long Bingo takes to do her bushwee, and Bluey says that the water is going to reach up to the clouds. I also like it because it's really funny, and I like that Bandit won't leave without the spring rolls. Yeah. That Bingo's so hungry that she eats Bandit's takeaway.
I do love spring rolls.
I was going to add, I think Brendan might echo, as a twin parent, going anywhere by yourself with 2 kids is exactly what happens in the episode. Like, literally everything happens at the same time, and you're trying to pee, and you've got the water going, and I've got, I laugh the whole episode because that's most of our lives is if we're alone with them.
There's a whole side of Bluey that is basically family Seinfeld, and I think this episode maybe best employs that, where it's like, here's a very small thing and you get a huge hilarious story from it.
Awesome. So Amma, where are you? Is it takeaway or sleepy time here?
Takeaway, I think, is emblematic of some of the things that Bluey does best, in that, like, it is very funny. It takes a small situation and expands it really big, but at the same time, sleepy time is something that they also do very well, but less often. So I want sleepy time to go through, but I do love takeaway.
Czadzeck family, bring us home in round 1. Is it going to be takeaway or is it going to be sleepy time?
We choose takeaway because our family's like that.
It's going to be takeaway. So that means we're split between takeaway and sleepy time. Uh-oh. And let's see. Sleepy time was the higher seed, guys. It was a 2 seed and takeaway was a 3. So sleepy time is moving into round 2. So that's the end of round 1. We're going to take a quick break to play musical statues in the living room. We're going to be right back after these messages. Do you suffer from phomophobia? That's the fear of missing out on important events that connect you to the world. You don't want to be the only person at work not talking about the most recent episode of the show everyone's dying to watch, right? Why not sign up for the Great Pop Culture Debate's free weekly newsletter? You'll get a curated list of upcoming releases in TV, music, film, and games, so you'll never be left out of the conversation. Avoid the FOMO. Head to greatpopculturedebate.com and subscribe today. And we're back for round 2 of our best Bluey episode debate. Before we get into the Elite 8, I want our panelists to share their social media, what they're working on, as well as what's going on with your families. So, Amma, can you go first? What's your social media and what are you working on?
So I am at Amma Marfo, just my first and last name, all one word, on Instagram and on YouTube. On YouTube, I have a half-hour comedy special called Enjoy Your Nachos. Please watch it. We had a lot of fun making it. And yes, I also did get into, we'll call it a debate at a comedy show with Australian audience members, because I was talking about Bluey, and I said that Bluey was a girl. And they said, she's a dog. Or they said, Bluey's a dog. And I said, yes, a girl dog. And it became this whole thing. But even in my adult life, I find a way to bother other adults.
I love that. Thank you very much, Joelle. Can you tell us what your socials are? What else you're working on?
Sure. Not working on much right now. The Pocket Pod is still around. That's my Animal Crossing podcast. It's a game that is slowly dying everywhere, but we still exist. So we're at the Pocket Pod and all the social places. And the podcast itself is called Pocket Pod Animal Crossing. And if you want to actually follow my animals that I have in my home, that's at Meowdecker.
Perfect.
On Instagram.
And when did you get into Bluey? When did you start watching it?
It was January of 2022.
How do you remember that?
It was a very specific moment in my life when it came to me.
Perfect. Great. Hey, Chen family, can you tell us where people can find you on social media and what else you're working on?
Sure, I'll go first. You can find me mostly on Blue Sky these days at bhay.bluesky.social. I'm also Brendan Hay Writer on Instagram. And if this is after October 2024, Eric is nodding it is, then please watch the second season of Gremlins on Max. It's called Gremlins The Wild Batch. Will be premiering October 3rd.
I'm on all my socials at Chen Writer. And my second young adult book is coming out in March. It's called Hangry Hearts. Pre-order from your local indie, Barnes & Noble, everything like that. And I'll turn it to Chloe and Clark if they want to.
I'm going into I'm in 3rd grade. And I'm in 3rd grade, too.
That's right, because they're twins, so they're in the same grade. But great job, everybody. And Czadzeck family, first, can you tell us where people can find you on socials and what else you're working on?
Well, for me, I'm, in between social medias at the moment, but you used to be able to find me on Twitter at JCZAD. I might still get some direct messages there and things like that.
And what else are you working on, Jim?
A new job, so not much creative except for the podcast.
Amen. Courtney?
And I am a high school teacher, so I don't have social I share, but you can find me here at the Great Pop Culture Debate when we talk about Melrose Place.
That'll be out in, I think, February of 2025, and the guitars are already wailing.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and Elliot, is Elliot present, or is he dealing with his medical emergency? Hi, Elliot. What grade are you going into?
I'm going in the 8th grade.
That is wild. Thank you very much. And Colin, what grade are you going into?
I'm going into 6th grade.
Ian, what grade are you going into?
2nd grade.
Good job, everybody. Perfect. So you can find me at Eric Rezsnyak on Instagram, or just message at Great Pop Culture Debate on Insta, Threads, or TikTok, or at GPCD on Mastodon. But what you really need to do is to sign up for our weekly newsletter, which comes out every Tuesday at noon, telling you about everything new in pop culture that week. Sign up by finding the link on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com or via our link tree on any of our social media accounts. It's time for our Patreon shout out. This one is for Andrea Polisek, who has been a supporter since March 2023. Thank you so much, Andrea. We wouldn't be able to do the show without your support. If you would like to get a shout out on a future episode, become a Patreon supporter by finding the link on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com. Now let's move into round 2 so we can back to practicing handstands in the kitchen. First, we're on the opposite ends of the age spectrum as the panel is split between Season 2's Baby Race and Season 3's Granny Mobile. Can I have someone from the Hey Chen family buckle up and take Granny Mobile for a spin? And Joelle, you better hustle as you try to go the distance for Baby Race. Joelle, please go first.
Oh boy. Well, I think I already talked about. Did I ever talk about Baby Race in the first round?
I think you did.
So I don't know how much more to say, except that it really is such a delight to see the flashbacks to when Bluey was a tiniest baby, and to learn what all of her other little friends were up to before they had, full personalities. Their personality was whatever, crawling and standing was. It's a wonderful episode. That said, I will not be at all upset in any way if Granny Mobile goes ahead.
Okay. Hey, Chen family, do you want to talk to us about Granny Mobile?
I love Granny Mobile. I personally have probably seen it 10 times because
my favorite episode.
It is my favorite episode. It's Muffin centric. I love that Muffin is just like, she's a delight, but also the fact that she's like, no, I'm not going to take this like low price from this like grumpy granny. And I just love that she's pushing back, and she kind of teaches the neighbor to speak up for herself and actually ask for the rate that's good, which I'm like, that's an important lesson that everybody should know. And also Muffin just being a grumpy granny I could literally just watch a whole episode on that.
I like the part where she throws the sign away. I really like it because it's funny, and I like that they're like at the end, she's like, I don't like these lollies.
Yeah. And let's see, Amma, where are you? Are you with the Granny Mobile or with Baby Race?
I'm going to give the opposite answer I did last round. Last round I gave it to Baby Race, but this round I'm going to give it to Granny Mobile. I need to be a little bit more of a muffin sometimes. So this was a great example of why that is. Ask to get paid what you're worth. Be a muffin.
Know your worth. It's a great lesson. Czadzeck, is it going to be Granny Mobile or is it going to be Baby Race?
Granny Mobile. She persisted.
And just the fact that they brought another Granny and it had to be Muffin.
All my coins.
Great job. So that's 3 for Granny Mobile, and it will move into the final 4. Next, it's a unanimous decision in favor of Season 2's Hammerbarn, which meant it was the end of the hero's journey for Season 3's Curry Quest, but curry remains delicious. Next, the bulk of the panel saw Season 3's The Sign, and it opened up their eyes to the possibility of the final 4. But Amma is still looking to get funky with Season 2's dance mode. Joelle, why does The Sign say proceed to you? Amma, bust a move as you push for dance mode. Amma, please go first.
So I do want to kind of acknowledge the possibility of the recency bias of The Sign. Like, I love it, and I think it's wonderful, and I think that getting a 28-minute episode of Bluey, like to the point of their original length, it's basically a Bluey movie. But at the same time, like when I think about the kind of thing that Bluey does best, it's things like dance mode, where it's parents doing really silly things to make their kids happy, but also kind of making sure that their kids grow up to be good people and learn how to listen to each other, treat each other the way they wanted to be treated. And The Sign is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of things I like about it. I cried multiple times in that 28 minutes, but when I think about what Bluey is, it's episodes like Dance Mode that make it stand out.
Awesome. Joelle, can you talk to us about The Sign?
Sure. Yeah, I definitely acknowledge the possible recency bias on this, but at the same time, it really is this massive episode where it is like 4 episodes crammed together. It's not like it's just one singular story. They really tell every step of the process of having a wedding, of selling a house, of choosing whether or not you're actually going to and follow through and all that, literally to the point where you're like leaving and then go, wait, maybe not. It's an epic tale. And maybe because it's so different, it's a little bit hard to compare to everything else of the series, but I can still think of it as these moments within that episode that feel special and stand out. And there was one part of it that was very meaningful to me, and that was like early on in the episode when Bluey was really struggling with leaving and feeling kind of anxious about it, and her teacher Calypso tells her this whole story, which honestly was like a little boring and kind of a throwaway, but in my mind in the moment, but the takeaway was, don't worry, everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to. And Bluey heard that and went, great, don't worry, everything's going to just work out the way I want it to. And that slight misinterpretation is so relatable. I felt it. I saw it play out, and I was like, oh, Bluey, oh no, the whole episode. It was really sweet how it all ended up working out.
Awesome. Czadzeck, is it going to be The Sign or is it going to be Dance Mode?
3, 2, 1, dance mode!
Yes. Awesome job, guys. The Hey Chen family, is it going to be Dance Mode or is it going to be The Sign?
The Sign, because I really like the music at the end, and I feel like it made my friend Vivian has a lot of that because she moves a lot. I also want to vote for The Sun because I like it because it's a really sweet episode.
I just was going to throw in also, if from the animation standpoint, it is really hard to take a show that is used to doing 6 minutes and not make it fall apart or feel forced or anything like that to stretch it longer. That's a shockingly difficult thing, and they pull it off with like a great ease.
Exactly. So that means I believe we're split currently, and The Sign is a 1 seed. So The Sign will continue into the final 4, recency bias or not. Finally, in round 2, the majority of the panel is nodding off along with season 2's Sleepytime, but the Hey Chen family wants to keep discussing season 3's Faceytalk. Amma, don't rest in your attempts to get Sleepytime into the final 4. Can I have someone from the Hey Chen family give me an argument for Faceytime? And I'm going to have Amma go first.
Again, I think it's such a good example of the harder things that Bluey can do. Like, I think comparatively speaking, doing something that's funny but also educational, that also does that without kind of being too pedantic about it, pretty straightforward, and the show's so good about it. And Bob's like, you, the pedantic person on the podcast? Yes, me, the pedantic person on the podcast. But at the same time, like, doing the other thing, like getting something that's really emotional that kids also like to watch, that obviously adults are also going to enjoy, that's so hard. And Sleepytime does it really, really well. So to have an episode of that nature represented in the bracket, I think is valuable because that is part of what Bluey is. And Sleepytime feels like the best example of that.
Okay. The Hey Chen family, can you talk to me about Faceytalk?
Okay. As a parent, I really love the part where the background Muffin's parents are like, we're not doing that. The mom's like, we're not doing that anymore. We're not using that language anymore. And I don't know. And I think it's so relatable as a parent where you're like, I'm going to try this thing and see if it works, and it doesn't work. But I was going to say, I love the fact that that Muffin keeps hiding and running away, but they can see where I just think it's hilarious. I think Muffin is hilarious, but I also think it's such a parent thing of like trying to enact some sort of discipline while the other parent has no idea what you're talking about, and you're doing it in real time. Just feels really, really real.
So Czadzeck, I know you guys weren't a big fan of Faceytalk last round. I don't even know, did you want Sleepytime to go through or no?
I'm going to speak real fast. I know the boys have a plan, but what you said about, I think the reason I didn't choose it first is because it felt so real about trying to discipline live. and that's maybe why I was uncomfortable with it, but the kids love it. So I'm going to let them speak.
Okay. So we're going to choose Faceytalk.
Okay.
Because, it's really fun, and it's full of joy and a little bit of muffin. And I like when Bandit walks into the room and he says, "Go, Muffin!"
I liked it because it was just such a well-written episode. There's a couple of them. There's a lot of them, actually, that are really well written, and I think that was one of them.
Ian, did you have anything to add?
I sometimes call people, and it's like Faceytalk. I put the little animations on the screen.
Adorable. So it sounds a lot like the episode. Joelle, where are you on this one?
I think there are already 2 votes for Faceytalk and 1 for Sleepytime. So I'm just going to vote for Sleepytime because that is my preference. But I think Faceytalk will win anyway, correct?
Let me check the seeds. Faceytalk is the 1 seed there. So Faceytalk would continue.
So I don't feel bad about selecting Sleepytime, which would be my preference.
Okay. So that means that Faceytime will move into the final 4. And with that, we have our finalists. We're going to take a quick break to release Muffin from her cone of shame, and we'll be right back after these messages. Do you want to watch more TV? Sure, we all do. But sometimes you just don't have the time to tune in, and you're still itching to know what happened. Well, for $0 a day, you can check out the Great Pop Culture Debate episode recaps. We cover some of your favorite television franchises so you can stay up to date without even watching. Head over to the blog section of greatpopculturedebate.com and make sure you never miss a moment. And we are back with the final 4 of our Best Bluey episode debate. At this point in the show, I always like to take a step back and see if it shook out the way I expected to. When I mentioned to our panelists what the final 4 was, at least one of them, Amma, recoiled in horror because she said, I believe the quote was, "I don't know where the antacids are in this house, and I don't know how I'm going to get through this." Is that accurate, Amma?
Yep, my tummy's going to hurt this whole time.
But we're going to make it happen because, again, all of these episodes are great and we love them all, right? We're just talking about celebrating them. So we're going to start with Granny Mobile versus Hammerbarn. I would like to start with Joelle. Joelle, which one are you going to go with?
Do you mind if I make a quick comment on the final 4?
Yes.
Because what I'm noticing, I have my little spreadsheet up. The 3 of the final 4 are all from late season 3. So I think it's a significant recency bias potentially that like these are episodes that stuck with us because they were the most recent to appear. That is probably the definition as I say it. With that in mind, I do think Hammerbarn has a very special part of history for the show. We love those gnomes. They use those gnomes on a lot. Those gnomes showed up in the end little credits of the sign. There's something so special about them, and they made like a whole personality out of inanimate objects, and it's wonderful. So I vote for Hammerbarn, which is a season 2 episode.
Great. Hey, Chen family, is it going to be Granny Mobile or Hammerbarn?
It was a hard decision, but Hammerbarn. Yeah, Hammerbarn.
Hammerbarn. Okay, great. And the Czadzecks, is it going to be Granny Mobile or Hammerbarn?
We're going to say the Granny Mobile because I personally, my favorite episode of all of Bluey was the original Grannies episode, and I'm so glad that they made a new one, and it was just great.
And I thank you for being very good about the fact that one got knocked out in round 1. You guys have all been a really good sports this whole time. Amma, is it Granny Mobile or is it Hammerbarn?
It's Hammerbarn. I love the husbands. I love the pizza oven. Love Hammerbarn. It's Hammerbarn.
So that means Hammerbarn will continue into the final 2. Next, it's the Sign versus Faceytalk. I want to start with the Czadzecks. Is it going to be the Sign or Faceytalk?
It's going to be Faceytalk.
Okay, great. I'm going to go to Amma. Is it the Sign or is it Faceytalk?
It's Faceytalk for me.
I'm going to give it to the Hey Chen family. Is it the Sign or Faceytalk?
We're going Faceytalk.
Uh-oh, it's a sweep. And Joelle, is it the Sign or Faceytalk?
It doesn't really matter, but my vote is for the Sign.
Okay. So that gives us a final 2 of Hammerbarn versus Faceytalk. And I want to start with our adults here first. So, Joelle, do you mind if I ask you the question, is it Hammerbarn or Faceytalk first?
For me, it's going to still be Hammerbarn.
Okay. Do you have a reason for that?
Just all like... There's so much about that episode that if you are a child, if you were once a child, is so relatable. If you've ever been bored in a store of any kind, and then you had to make your own fun, we used to sit on the shelves, like and just hide and like my family had to come find me if I was sitting on a shelf. It just, you have to make your own fun, right? And that was it's just so cute to watch these two girls just make like little landscapes of their home using paper and gnomes and miscellaneous boxes, and it's just adorable.
Wonderful. Amma, is it going to be Hammerbarn or Faceytalk?
I'm giving it to Faceytalk here. I think Faceytalk is a really fun amalgamation of everything that Bluey does well. It's kids being kids. It is getting to see lessons from the adults. It's sometimes seeing the adults root for the kids when maybe you don't think that they would or should. I also think, just from the standpoint of how Bluey records, kind of like knowing that it's just kids that are family of the production team, we may never know those kids' names, and just the amount of fun they must have had recording this. Like, oh my gosh, what fun to be able to bring to life something so silly, so unique for the show, and so much fun. Faceytalk, of these choices, is to me what Bluey is. So I'm giving it to Faceytalk.
Czadzeck family, it's the least important decision you will make today. Is it going to be Hammerbarn or is it going to be Faceytalk?
Well, I'm going to steal the same argument that Amma just made about that. I think Hammerbarn actually is a great example. If you were to give someone one episode, it really highlights the writing and the lessons as well as the childlike play. It starts off with the grass is always greener statement, like, and you think that they're going to get the pizza oven because he's jealous of his neighbor and what he has, and then there's all these little like stories throughout the entire thing about how you shouldn't like envy other people's things, that you should be happy with what you have, and some things get old and that's okay. And then by the end, you think that he's going to be like showing off to his neighbor, but really they swap pizzas and they're having a great time together. He got it because it kind of drew them all together. And I think that's a really nice lesson. So you have it at the kid level as well as the adult level, and it's all kind of swirls together the way it's written, that I think it's really skillfully done.
Great. All right. Chen, hey family, you got to bring us home. Is it going to be Hammerbarn or is it going to be Faceytalk?
Hammerbarn, because it's my favorite episode in all of the Bluey episodes. I love Faceytalk, but it's going to be Hammerbarn because it's also one of my favorites, and I just love it because it reminds me of when our family goes to the grocery store. I just have so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Also, the bandit reaction of they're probably talking about another Bluey is one of the most true-to-life lies you tell yourself as a parent.
Excellent. So there you have it, folks. Our pick for the best Bluey episode is Hammerbarn. Do you agree? Do you think we need to get cereal? Tell us how you really feel by leaving us a comment on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com, or find us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, or Mastodon. While you're there, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast so you can hear about what new debates are coming soon, vote in open polls, and even decide which topics we tackle next. I want to say thank you to my panel, and thank you especially to our special guest panelists. I would play Keepy Uppy with all of you anytime, and thank you for listening. If you loved what you heard, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get even more exclusive content and get episodes a whole day early. We hope you have a good one, and remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion. This was Trifficult. This was a little special extra to go along with our best Bluey episode. We wanted to ask our panelists what their favorite Bluey character is. So I'm going to start with the Czadzecks because you guys are on the bottom of my screen. Can I ask, I think Colin, you're at the mic first. Who's your favorite Bluey character?
Well, for me, I really like Bandit because he's always funny and like he seems like just like a really fun dad and stuff.
Nice. Just like your dad, right? Uh-huh. Ian, who's your favorite character?
Socks.
Socks? Who's Socks? Can you tell everybody who Socks is?
Muffin's sister.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. Elliot, do you have a favorite character?
I'm glad that I'm one of the first people to say this because I know a lot of other people probably agree. I'm going to have to say Muffin.
Muffin. Okay, great. And Jim, do you have a favorite character on the show?
Jim left to go to the store.
Okay, a relatable content. Courtney, do you have a favorite character?
My favorite character is Bandit because he reminds us all about what we are parents for and that we need to kind of take a step back and enjoy these kids while we got them and the goofiness and the silliness. And we all feel parent guilt sometimes, and sometimes Bandit makes me feel like that's okay and I can take a step back and be goofy now, even though maybe a minute ago
Bingo, I was a little too serious.
That's lovely. Hey, Chen family, can I ask you, who's at the mic first? Is it Clark? Oh, Jennifer, do you want to go first?
I'm going to share Muffin because I think Muffin always speaks about what she wants, and I want to have an inner Muffin all the time.
Awesome.
I think my favorite character is Bingo because Bingo reminds me of myself because I'm the youngest in the family.
Oh, you're the baby.
Just by 2 minutes, though.
Hey, I mean, that's an important 2 minutes, right? Go ahead, yeah.
I can't decide between Bluey or Socks, so I'm going to go with both.
You know what? I'm going to give you that power. You can go ahead and go with both. And Brendan, do you have a favorite character?
Muffin makes me laugh the most. Bandit makes me feel less guilty.
Okay, a lot of guilt in this. Jeez. Joelle, can you talk? Well, and also thank you, Hey Chen family. You guys were a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun recording with us. Yeah, thank you. And Joelle, can you tell me who your favorite character on Bluey is?
So I just scrolled through every single character name just to double check. But frankly, I didn't need to scroll. It's Bingo. Bingo is the most relatable character for me. It's the misunderstood little sister. I live that life all the time.
You do. Yes, that's very much your aesthetic. And Amma, who is your favorite character on Bluey?
I gotta give it to Muffin. She's a little chaotic, but also older. And I think Bluey's a little bit more measured. I think growing up, I was a Bluey, but as an adult older sister, I'm a Muffin, and I'm having a great time.
And I'm a Muffin top, and that's what happens when you get older. So thank you very much for all of our panelists. We had the most fun recording this episode. If you haven't listened to it yet, please check out our Best Bluey episode of the Great Pop Culture Debate, which will be available everywhere, wherever you find podcasts this November. We'll talk to you soon. Oops, that's wrong too. What did I do wrong? I see you laughing at me. What's wrong?
You didn't do anything wrong. A dog entered the chat, and I got
I'm just
distracted.
excited. I'm just happy a dog's here. You've done nothing wrong.
Perfect.
And the
Okay,
H10
good.
family has done everything right.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure we're okay. All right. Let me try that one again.